Hey, thinking about skipping planting because summer's almost over? Hold on a sec. While everyone else is watching their gardens fade and throwing in the towel, you could be getting ready for an awesome fall display that'll make them all jealous. Here's the thing they don't know. We're not just talking about some quick, pretty flowers that disappear after one bloom. We're talking about perennials, the kind that come back bigger, stronger, and even more gorgeous every year. A lot of gardeners mess up by only planting in the spring. They enjoy the colors for a bit, but by August, they're already packing it in for the year. But what if I told you that late July and August are awesome times to plant some super cool perennials? These plants can take the heat, are okay with tough conditions, and will give you amazing fall blooms when everything else is done. I'm going to tell you about 12 perennials that will totally change how you think about late season gardening. Forget those typical spring flowers. These are the tough ones, the show-offs that come alive when other plants are calling it quits. And the best part? If you plant them now, they'll give you color all through October, November, and sometimes even into December. I'm here to show you that late summer isn't the end. It's your second shot at garden magic. Let's start with number 1, Black-Eyed Susans, your golden garden hero. Seriously, there's a reason this plant is at the top of the list for late summer gardeners. When I first planted these beauties 5 years ago, I didn't know they'd be such reliable performers. I mean, imagine golden sunshine in flower form, blooming like crazy from when you plant them until the first frost. These aren't delicate plants that need babying. They're tough garden warriors that actually get stronger in the heat. While your neighbor's plants are wilting, your black-eyed Susans will be standing tall, pumping out flowers like they're powered by the sun. Those daisy-like blooms with the dark chocolate centers make an awesome contrast that makes people stop and stare. I've had people ask if my flowers are fake because they can't believe anything could look so good in the late summer heat. And here's what's really cool. Once they're settled in, they don't need much water. That means less work for you and more time to enjoy those beautiful golden flowers. Plus, when fall comes and everything else is fading, these guys keep going. They'll bloom through September, October, and often into November. It's like having your own little party every time you go outside. Next up, number 2, Russian Sage, the purple cloud of dreams. This plant is like a poem that moves. The first time I saw it in a friend's yard, I thought I was looking at a purple cloud that had somehow taken root. The way it sways in the breeze is mesmerizing, like a dancer performing in your garden all day long. Those tall, pretty spires of lavender blue flowers make any space look amazing. And when I say they love heat, I mean it. The hotter it gets, the better they smell. Just touching the silvery leaves releases this amazing herbal scent that takes you straight to the Mediterranean. Russian sage is great for late summer planting because it's so tough. It can handle dry conditions, poor soil, and actually does better if you don't fuss over it too much. It's perfect for busy gardeners who want a big impact without a lot of work. These plants can get 3 to 4 feet tall, making an awesome backdrop for smaller plants while attracting tons of butterflies and bees. I planted mine in August 3 years ago, and by October, it looked like it had been there forever. Russian sage likes to be planted when it's warm. It lets the roots settle in before winter, while still giving you those awesome fall flowers. Coming in at number 3, purple coneflowers, the pollinator paradise. If you want to bring all the butterflies, bees, and hummingbirds to your yard, this is the plant to get. These plants are like throwing a cool garden party that everyone wants to attend. Coneflowers aren't just purple anymore. You can find them in coral, orange, yellow, white, and even double flower forms that look like fluffy pom-poms. But that classic purple with the bronze cone is still my favorite. These are great for late summer planting because they can handle the heat. While other flowers are struggling in August, coneflowers are just getting started. They bloom better in the heat, producing more flowers and stronger stems. And here's a cool bonus. The seed heads that form after they bloom look cool and provide food for birds all winter long. I remember when I planted coneflowers in late July. My neighbor thought I was crazy. "Who plants flowers in this heat?" she asked. But by September, when her garden was looking sad, mine was buzzing with activity and color. She's been asking for cuttings ever since. The best thing about coneflowers is that they're almost impossible to kill once they're established. They can handle dry conditions, poor soil, and even being ignored. It's like having a super forgiving friend in your garden, always there, always reliable, and always beautiful. Rolling in at number 4, Threadleaf Coreopsis, the non-stop blooming machine. This little plant will make you rethink what's possible with late season planting. When I tell people this plant blooms non-stop from planting until the first frost, they look at me like I'm making it up. But it's true! This is nature's own never-ending flower machine. The flowers are like perfect golden stars, about the size of a quarter, covering the entire plant so you can barely see the leaves underneath. It's like sunshine scattered across your garden. And the fine leaves create a soft, cottony effect that looks great with other plants. What's really cool is that Coreopsis is super easy to take care of. While other plants need constant deadheading, special food, and attention, Coreopsis just keeps producing flowers on its own. The old blooms fall off, making room for new ones without you having to do anything. I planted my first Threadleaf Coreopsis on August 15th, thinking I'd get a few weeks of blooms before frost. It bloomed non-stop until December and came back the following spring twice the size and with even more flowers. That's when I realized I had something special, a plant that loves late-season planting and rewards you with tons of blooms. It's also super drought tolerant. I've forgotten to water mine for weeks during hot spells, and they just keep blooming like nothing happened. It's the perfect plant for anyone who wants a big impact with very little effort. Fifth on our list is the fall-blooming Asters, here to tell autumn goodbye. At number 5, we have fall-blooming airs, and these plants are about to completely change how you think about autumn gardening. When I planted my first airs in late August 4 years ago, I thought I was just adding a little late-season color. What I got instead was a garden transformation that left my neighbors speechless. Picture walking outside in early October when every other garden on the block looks tired and brown, and your space is absolutely exploding with clouds of tiny purple, pink, or white flowers. That's the magic of fall airs. These native wildflowers don't just bloom in fall, they put on the most spectacular show of the entire year when the weather starts to cool. The flowers are small individually, but they appear in such massive clusters that they create these incredible purple or white clouds floating above the foliage. And here's what really gets me excited. They're absolutely essential for migrating butterflies. I've counted over 20 monarch butterflies on a single aster plant during peak migration. It's like hosting a butterfly convention in your own backyard. But here's the secret most gardeners don't know. Airs actually prefer to be planted in late summer. Spring-planted airs often get tall and floppy, but those planted in August develop stronger, more compact growth that's perfectly timed for their fall spectacular. The cooler fall temperatures intensify their flower colors, creating displays that photos simply can't capture. What I love most about airs is their incredible reliability. Once you plant them, they mark the seasons for you. Every September, like clockwork, the buds start forming. By October, you've got this incredible display that lasts for weeks, sometimes into November if we don't get a hard frost. Next up at number 6, we have Autumn Joy Sedums, the chameleon of the garden world. Number 6 is Autumn Joy Sedum, and this plant is pure garden magic. If you've never grown sedums before, you're about to that they're called the chameleons of the plant world. This single plant gives you 3 completely different looks throughout the season, and each one is more beautiful than the last. It starts as these gorgeous jade green rosettes in spring and summer, thick, succulent leaves that look almost architectural in their perfection. Then, in late summer, something incredible happens. Flat-top flower clusters appear, starting as pale green buttons that gradually turn pink, then rose, then deep burgundy red as fall progresses. It's like watching a slow-motion fireworks display right in your garden. I remember the first time I watched this transformation happen. I kept thinking something was wrong with the plant because it kept changing colors. Then I realized I was witnessing one of nature's most incredible color shows. By late October, those flower heads had turned this rich bronze burgundy that glows like jewels in the fall sunlight. But here's what makes Autumn Joy perfect for late summer planting. It's practically indestructible. Drought? It laughs at drought. Poor soil? It prefers it. Neglect? It thrives on neglect. These are succulent plants, which means they store water in their thick, fleshy leaves. It's like nature's own irrigation system built right into the plant. And the bees, oh my goodness, the bees! When Autumn Joy blooms in September and October, it becomes this incredible pollinator magnet. At a time when most flowers are finished the season, your sedums will be buzzing with activity. I've counted dozens of different bee species on a single plant, all frantically gathering nectar before winter arrives. The best part is that these flower heads look stunning even after they've finished blooming. They dry to this beautiful rust color that provides architectural interest all winter long, and they're perfect for dried flower arrangements. Rolling in at number 7, we have Japanese Anemone, delicate as tissue paper, tough as nails. At number 7, we have Japanese Anemone, and this plant is about to become your new obsession. When people see these delicate, papery flowers dancing in the breeze, they assume they're looking at something fragile and temperamental. But Japanese anemones are proof that appearances can be deceiving. These beauties are tough as nails. The flowers are absolutely ethereal, single or double blooms in white or pink that seem to float above the dark green foliage like butterflies. Each petal looks like it was cut from the finest tissue paper, so delicate you'd think a strong breeze would destroy them. But these plants laugh at wind, rain, and even early frost. They're the elegant survivors of the perennial world. What makes Japanese anemones perfect for late summer planting is their blooming schedule. While most perennials are finishing up their show, anemones are just getting started. They begin blooming in late August and continue through October, sometimes even into November. It's like having a second spring in your garden when everything else is preparing for winter. I planted my first Japanese anemones in a partially shaded spot where nothing else seemed happy. I was skeptical. How could something so delicate looking thrive where other plants struggled? But by the second year, I had a gorgeous colony of plants producing hundreds of flowers from late summer through fall. They'd found their perfect home and were rewarding me with incredible displays. Here's what really impressed me about these plants. They actually prefer some shade, making them perfect for those tricky spots where you struggle to find good blooming plants, north-facing patios, areas under trees, spots that get morning sun but afternoon shade. Anemones love these locations and will bloom beautifully where sun-loving plants would struggle. The way they move in the breeze is absolutely mesmerizing. On a gentle fall afternoon, watching Japanese anemones dance in the garden is like meditation. Each flower nods and sways independently, creating this incredible sense of movement and life when other plants are becoming dormant. Next on our list at number 8, Blue Mist Shrub, Caryopteris, electric blue when everything else is warm-toned. At number 8, we have Blue Mist Shrub, also called Caryopteris, and this plant is going to add a color to your fall garden that you probably never thought possible. When most fall flowers are showing off in reds, oranges, and yellows, Caryopteris brings electric blue to the party. And let me tell you, it's absolutely show-stopping. The first time I saw this plant in bloom, I actually stopped my car and knocked on a stranger's door to ask what it was. The owner laughed and told me she gets that reaction all the time. These aren't just blue flowers, they're electric, almost neon blue clusters that seem to glow against the silvery green foliage. It's like someone scattered pieces of the summer sky throughout your garden. But here's what makes Caryopteris perfect for containers and late-season planting. It stays compact and blooms on new wood. That means you can plant it in August, and it will still produce a full display of flowers in September and October. Unlike shrubs that need a full year to establish before blooming well, Blue Mist Shrub rewards you with flowers in its first season. The butterflies go absolutely crazy for this plant. I've never seen anything attract butterflies like Caryopteris in full bloom. On a warm September afternoon, my Blue Mist Shrub looks like it's decorated with living jewelry. Monarchs, swallowtails, skippers, and dozens of smaller butterflies all competing for space on those electric blue flower clusters. And the fragrance. When you brush against the foliage, it releases this wonderful herbal scent that's somewhere between mint and lavender. It's aromatherapy right in your garden. I've actually planted mine near seating areas just so I can enjoy that wonderful fragrance on cool fall evenings. What really impressed me about this plant is its heat tolerance and drought resistance once established. While other plants are struggling in late summer heat, Caryopteris just keeps pumping out those incredible blue flowers. It's like it was designed specifically for challenging growing conditions. Ninth on the list is Gaura, whirling butterflies. Like having a cloud of butterflies dancing in your garden. At number 9, we have Gaura, commonly called whirling butterflies, and this plant is pure magic in motion. The first time I saw this growing in a friend's garden, I stood there mesmerized for 10 minutes just watching it dance. The delicate stems sway with the slightest breeze, and those tiny white or pink flowers flutter like dozens of butterflies that never land. What makes Gaura absolutely perfect for late summer planting is its incredible heat tolerance and its blooming schedule. This plant actually gets better as the weather gets hotter. While other flowers are wilting in August intensity, Gaura is producing more flowers, stronger stems, and an incredible airy texture that adds movement to every garden composition. The individual flowers are small, about the size of your thumbnail, but they appear in such abundance that they create this incredible cloud-like effect. Each bloom has 4 petals and long, delicate stamen that flutter in the breeze. It's like nature's own wind chimes, but instead of sound, you get this constant hypnotic movement that brings your entire garden to life. I planted my first whirling butterflies on August 20th, 3 years ago, thinking I might get a month of bloom before frost. I got 3 solid months of non-stop flowering from planting day right through November. Even after the first light frost when other plants were blackened and finished, my Gaura kept producing new flowers like nothing had happened. Here's what really impressed me about this plant. It's practically indestructible once established. Drought? It lasts a drought. Poor soil? It prefers it. Heat waves? It thrives in them. Windstorms? The flexible stems just dance harder. It's like having the most resilient performer in your garden, always on stage, always putting on a show. And the way it combines with other plants is absolutely magical. I use it as a living veil in front of boulder flowers, and it creates this incredible layered effect. The solid colors of coneflowers or airs show through the dancing stems of Gaura, creating depth and movement that makes your entire garden look professionally designed. Reaching number 10 on our list is blanket flower, Gaillardia, sunset colors that warm up cool fall days. Number 10 is blanket flower, also called Gaillardia, and this plant brings the warmth of a summer sunset to your fall garden. When I tell people that some of my blanket flowers are still blooming in December, they look at me like I'm making it up. But these native wildflowers are absolute champions of extended bloom, especially when planted in late summer. The flowers are absolutely stunning. Imagine a sunset captured in bloom form, deep reds bleeding into bright oranges, yellows, and sometimes burgundy, all in the same flower. Each bloom looks hand-painted, with colors so rich and warm they seem to generate their own heat. On a cool October morning, when everything else looks subdued, blanket flowers glow like little campfires scattered throughout your garden. What makes Gaillardia perfect for late-season planting is its incredible toughness and its preference for cooler root conditions. When you plant them in the heat of August, they establish quickly but don't stress about blooming immediately. Instead, they build strong root systems and prepare for the spectacular fall show that's coming. I remember my first experience with blanket flowers. I planted them in what I thought was a terrible location, hot, dry, with poor soil where nothing else would grow. I figured they'd survive great, and if not, I hadn't lost much. What happened next amazed me. Not only did they survive, they absolutely thrived. The worse the conditions got, the better they performed. Here's the secret about blanket flowers. They actually prefer to be a little stressed. Rich soil and regular water make them lazy. They produce more leaves and fewer flowers. But plant them in challenging conditions, and they respond by blooming their hearts out. It's like they're trying to produce as many seeds as possible to ensure survival, and that means more flowers for you. The drought tolerance is legendary. I've gone 6 weeks without watering mine during summer heat waves, and they just kept blooming. When other plants were dropping leaves and going dormant, my Gaillardia looked like nothing had happened. It's a perfect plant for busy gardeners or anyone who travels frequently. Sneaking in at number 11, we have Toad Lily, the orchid of the shade garden. At number 11, we have Toad Lily, and this plant is going to completely change your mind about what's possible in shaded fall gardens. When people see these exotic spotted flowers blooming in September and October, they can't believe they're looking at something hardy enough to survive winter outdoors. The flowers are absolutely extraordinary. They look like tiny orchids with intricate purple and white spotting patterns. Each bloom is a work of art with 6 petals covered in the most delicate purple spots on a white background. The way the spots are arranged is different on every flower, making each bloom unique. It's like having a collection of living jewelry scattered throughout your shade garden. What makes Toad Lily perfect for late summer planting is its blooming schedule and shade tolerance. This is one of the few perennials that actually blooms better in shade and saves its spectacular flower show for fall when most shade plants are finished for the season. Plant them in August, and by October, you'll have exotic blooms that look like they belong in a tropical conservatory. I planted my first toad lilies in a spot where nothing else seemed happy. Deep shade under mature trees where the soil stays moist but never gets direct sun. I was skeptical that anything would bloom well there, especially something with flowers this exotic looking. But toad lilies proved me completely wrong. The plants form these elegant, arching stems with oval leaves that look attractive all season long. Then, in early fall, something magical happens. Buds form along the stems and at the tips, and suddenly you have dozens of these incredible orchid-like flowers opening over a period of several weeks. Each stem becomes a living flower arrangement that lasts for weeks. Here's what really impressed me about toad lilies. They're conversation starters like nothing else in the garden. Every single person who sees them in bloom asks the same question: what is that incredible flower? The common name might not sound appealing, but don't let that fool you. These are sophisticated, elegant plants that add an exotic touch to any shade garden. And rounding out the top 12 is Ornamental Kale. Who says vegetable can't be gorgeous? Our final plant at number 12 is Ornamental Kale, and this is going to surprise you. When I first suggest Ornamental Kale to gardeners, they often wrinkle their noses and say, "But that's a vegetable." And you know what? They're absolutely right. And that's exactly what makes it so special. Ornamental kale brings colors to fall gardens that you simply can't get from traditional flowers. We're talking deep purples, bright pinks, creamy whites, and rich greens, all in the same plant. But here's the magic. These colors intensify as the weather gets cooler. Light frosts that kill other plants actually make ornamental kale more beautiful. The rosettes look like enormous roses made of ruffled silk. Some varieties have smooth leaves, others are deeply ruffled and textured. The colors start subtle in warm weather, then explode into brilliant displays as temperatures drop. By late October, a container of ornamental kale looks like it's filled with giant colorful flowers that laugh at frost. I started using ornamental kale in my fall containers 5 years ago, and it completely changed my autumn decorating game. While my neighbors were pulling out their tired summer annuals and leaving empty pots, my containers were just hitting their peak beauty. The contrast between the bold architectural leaves and delicate flowers from other plants creates stunning combinations that last well into winter. But here's the bonus that really excites me. Ornamental kale is completely edible. Those gorgeous purple and pink leaves make incredible additions to salads, and they're packed with nutrients. You can literally eat your decorations. I've served leaves from my containers at dinner parties, and guests are always amazed at something so beautiful can taste so good. What makes ornamental kale perfect for late summer planting is its preference for cooler weather. Plant it now, and by the time fall arrives, you'll have established plants ready to put on their spectacular cool weather color show. Unlike spring-planted kale that often bolts in summer heat, fall-planted ornamental kale has months of perfect growing conditions ahead. Before we wrap up, let me share the essential tips I've learned from years of late-season planning that will guarantee your success with these incredible perennials. Container preparation is everything. First, and this is absolutely crucial, always use high-quality potting mix, never garden soil. I learned this lesson the hard way when I lost an entire container of beautiful plants because I thought I could save money using soil for my yard. Garden soil becomes like concrete in containers, creating drainage problems that will kill even the most drought-tolerant plants. Quality potting mix drains properly while still holding enough moisture for healthy root development. Make sure every single container has drainage holes. I don't care how beautiful that pot is, without drainage, it's a death trap for your plants. Even desert plants will rot in waterlogged soil. If you fall in love with a container without holes, either drill some or use it as a decorative outer pot with a properly drained liner inside. Here's the watering wisdom for late season success. Here's the watering secret that most gardeners get wrong. Water deeply but less frequently. Stick your finger into the soil. If the top inch is dry, it's time to water. When you do water, water slowly and thoroughly until you see it draining from the bottom. This encourages deep root growth that will help your plant survive winter and thrive next year. Late season planted perennials need consistent moisture to establish good root systems before winter, but they don't need to be kept constantly wet. Think of it as helping them build a strong foundation for next year's spectacular performance. Lastly, the fertilizer strategy that works for late season planting. Skip the high nitrogen fertilizers that encourage soft, tender growth vulnerable to frost damage. Instead, use a balanced, slow-release fertilizer or a low-nitrogen, high-phosphorus blend that encourages root development and flower production. Your plants will establish better and be more prepared for winter. So, there you have it. 12 incredible perennials that prove late summer isn't the end of your gardening season. It's your second shot at garden magic. From the golden sunshine of black-eyed Susans to the exotic orchid-like blooms of toad lilies, these plants will transform your garden into a fall spectacular that your neighbors will talk about for years. Think about it. While everyone else is giving up on their gardens and resigning themselves to brown, empty containers, you could be stepping outside to a space that's more beautiful in October than it was in July. These aren't just plants. They're your secret weapons for extending the joy of gardening well into fall and beyond. Every single plant on this list will come back stronger and more beautiful next year. That means this late summer investment pays dividends for years to come. You're not just planting flowers, you're planting future joy, future beauty, and future memories. Which of these 12 champions caught your attention? Are you ready to prove that late summer is actually prime planting time? I want to hear about your late season gardening adventures. Drop a comment below and tell me which plants you're most excited to try, or share your own experiences with fall planting. I read every single comment and love connecting with fellow gardeners who refuse to let the season end in August. If this video has inspired you to see late summer in a whole new way, smash that like button and share it with someone who thinks gardening ends when the calendar hits August. Let's spread the word that the best gardening adventures are just beginning when everyone else is packing it in. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We've got an entire fall gardening series coming up with container design ideas, winter prep strategies, and next season planning that will keep your garden gorgeous year-round. Until next time, keep growing, keep experimenting, and remember, in gardening as in life, it's never too late to start something beautiful. Your future self will thank you for every plant you add to your garden today.